Hello my dear viewers, welcome back to my channel. In this video we are going to see guidelines on intermediate first year English practical examination, which is going to be implemented from the month of March 2024, and this is suggested by Board of Intermediate Education Telangana. Board has provided a handbook including guidelines to conduct intermediate first year English practical exams. Let us see the guidelines first. The English practical examination for intermediate first year is decided to be conducted from 2023-24 academic year. The maximum marks for English practical examination are 20 and for theory examination are 80 marks. The minimum pass marks for practical exam are 7 and theory exam are 28 marks. On average, a batch shall consist of 30 students for conducting the test. Here is the method to allot the marks. There are 5 test items, namely communicative functions, just a minute, role play, listening comprehension, practical record book. Communicative functions will be conducted orally, where 4 questions are asked, each carrying 1 mark. Second one is just a minute. This is also oral exam. Here one question will be asked for 4 marks. The next comes role play. One question carries 4 marks. Then listening comprehension. This is taken in written manner. 4 questions are asked, each carrying 1 mark. Then there should be a practical record book which is to be written. It carries 4 marks. Total 20 marks and time allotted will be 3 hours. So these are the guidelines to conduct practical examination for 20 marks, which are shown detailed in the coming slides. The first test item, communicative functions. The English practical manual entitled A Handbook of Communicative English is accommodated with complete content related to communicative functions in English, which can be practiced under the supervision of teacher during the academic year. As such, the examiner provides each of the students 4 different situations related to using communicative functions in English as test items for the oral responses from the students as answers. Each of the situation as test item is allotted 1 mark. Test item 2. JAM. Just a minute. 30 different topics for JAM are to be written on slips. Each student is asked to pick up 1 slip and should speak on the topic. The examiner will award the marks from 0 to 4, observing the student's proficiency in English. Test item 3. This is a role play. Minimum 2 students per situation can be taken part in this. Students are formed into groups in a batch of 30 students, comprising at least 2 students per group. Different topics are given to the groups, giving a maximum time limit of 5 minutes to plan, rehearse and enact the role play. The examiner will award marks depending upon the presentation skills of the students. Test item 4. Listening comprehension. The questions. At least 4 questions for listening comprehension will be displayed on the board. Then the examiner reads out the listening tape or plays an audio clip. The examiner reads out the listening tape or plays the audio a second time which is final. The students are given 5 minutes to write responses on the answer scripts provided to them and submit to the examiner. The examiner will evaluate the answer script and award marks accordingly. Next comes practical record book. The student brings a written record working out the following contents: communicative functions, 5 exercises, 4 from the handbook and 1 from outside the handbook. Then just a minute, 5 exercises, 4 from the handbook and 1 from outside the handbook. Role play, 5 exercises, 4 from handbook and 1 out of the handbook. Listening comprehension, 5 exercises, 3 from handbook and 2 from outside the handbook. These are the contents provided in the handbook. Topics based on communicative functions, just a minute, role play, listening comprehension, and then at last model paper is provided. This is the model question paper provided in the handbook for internal assessment test for practical exam, which is going to be implemented from IPE March 2024. Time allotted are 3 hours. Maximum marks are 20. Minimum pass marks are 7. So section A, the first question. The student has to respond to the following questions which are based on communicative functions. The first question: you borrowed your friend's camera. Unfortunately, you broke it. How would you tender your apology to him? Second question: imagine you are a bank employee. You have some domestic urgency at home. You will ask for permission to leave the bank early on a particular day. Third, your friend has a collection of good books. How would you ask him to lend you one of your favorite books? With your partner. 4. Consider Sumant is your friend. How would you introduce him to your parents? So question number 2. Pick out one of the slips from the basket offered by the examiner. Speak in English for a minute on the JAM topic you find in the slip. For example, a JAM topic is given below. My favorite teacher. This carries 4 marks. Then the third question is role play. The examiner gives the topic dividing students into groups, minimum of 2. And they are asked to perform the role play with their partner. For example, the topic will be given students and politics. This also carries 4 marks. And the fourth one will be listening comprehension. Student has to listen to the transcript read by the examiner or played on the audio device. Then the questions will be displayed on the blackboard. The passage will be read or played a second time again. Then student has to answer these questions on the answer script. Here is the listening passage. About 100 years ago, whenever an operation was performed, the patient would cry out in agony because he felt the surgeon cut his flesh. But now serious operations are performed without pain and thousands of lives are saved. James Simpson was the first to discover and use the pain-killing power of chloroform. James was born into a poor family. So, in his childhood, he not only helped his father on holidays, but also helped the village doctor. But he was horrified by the dire suffering of the people who came to the hospital for treatment. He now made it his life's mission to find new inventions that would prevent so much pain. Simpson did many experiments and finally discovered chloroform. Now the patient is not afraid of the operation. So this was the listening comprehension. And here are the questions which are to be answered and written in answer script after listening to the above passage. Why did patients cry out in pain in olden days? Who invented the pain-killing power? Name the painkiller used in surgery nowadays. What motivated Simpson to find new invention? Now comes the fifth question, that is marks allotted to practical record book. It includes communicative functions, 5 exercises, just a minute, 5 exercises, role play, 5 exercises, listening comprehension, 5 exercises, altogether carrying 4 marks. So this is the model of the student-wise accumulated marks register for English practicals. The academic year, the name of the college, the group and class. The table consists of serial number, name of the student, hall ticket number, and each test item, like test item 1, communicative functions, test item 2, just a minute, test item 3, role play, test item 4, listening comprehension, then the marks allotted for record book, and total marks obtained by the students, remarks if any. It includes the signature of the lecturer who conducted the exam and also the principal of the college. Now here comes the theory exam paper, model question paper, which is going to be implemented from 2024 onwards. In previous papers, the marks allotted for this was 100 marks, but now it is for 80 marks and pass marks for this are 28. In section A, we see question answers. The first question carries 3 questions asked from the prose. Any 2 should be answered, each carrying 4 marks. Question number 2. Here 3 questions are asked from the poems. Any 2 have to be answered, each carrying 4 marks. Question number 3. Here 3 questions are asked from short stories, out of which 2 have to be answered, each carrying 4 marks. Then comes section B. It includes 2 comprehension passages. One from the short story carrying 4 marks, and then the next one is from out of text. This also carries 4 marks. After reading these passages, you have to answer any 4 of the given 5 questions, carrying each 1 mark. Now comes section C, which includes grammar. In this 6th question, a passage will be provided to you. You have to identify the parts of speech, any of the 8 out of the underlined 10 words. This carries half mark each. 7th question, fill in the blanks have to be filled with the articles a, an or the, each carrying half mark. Out of 10, you have to answer any 8. Then 8th question is also fill in the blanks, which are to be filled by prepositions. Out of 10, you can fill any 8, each carrying half mark. Question number 9. These fill in the blanks have to be filled by the verb forms. Words or verbs are already provided in the brackets. You have to change the form of them. This carries each 1 mark. Out of 6, you can fill any 4. Question number 10. Here you have to change the the sentences as directed. This includes active passive voice, direct indirect speech, degrees of comparison, and a question tag. Out of 6, you can answer any 4, each carrying 2 marks, and total question carries 8 marks. Question number 11. Here 6 sentences are provided and each sentence has error in it. You have to identify the error and correct the error and write it in the answer script, each carrying 1 mark. Total 4 marks for this bit. 12th question is missing letters. You have to fill the correct letters to make it a meaningful word, each carrying half mark. You can answer any 8 from the given 10. Question number 13. Here you have to identify silent consonant letters in each word after pronouncing it. You can do any 8 out of the given 10, each carrying half mark, and total 4 marks for this bit. Question number 14. Here you can see phonetic transcriptions. 6 are provided. You can change any 4 into normal English spelling, each carrying 1 mark, and total 4 marks for this bit. Question number 15. Here you have provided 3 words in each row. You have to identify odd sound out of 3. You can answer any 4 out of 6. This also carries each 1 mark. Total 4 marks for this bit. 16th question. This is the last question of the question paper. You have to count or identify the number of syllables in the words given here. Out of 6, you can answer any 4, each carrying 1 mark. Total 4 marks for this bit.